Dead Space remake is on the way, so I thought it's the best time to try out Dead Space. I love third-person horror games, I was so hyped for this game, so let's dive in. Dead Space is a third-person horror game with puzzle elements. It was developed by Visceral Games and published by Electronic Arts in 2008. Well, it was good old days when EA was way better than now. Developers were inspired by Resident Evil 4 and they created a very innovative game with unique game mechanics. When the game starts, you are controlling Isaac Clarke, an engineering part of a small crew that went to repair a spaceship called Ishimura. Isaac wasn't only there for a repair mission, he was searching for a missing person. Their ship crashed into Ishimura during docking progress. When they land, they realize something is very wrong with Ishimura. When Isaac was checking damage reports of Ishimura, an automatic quarantine starts, leaving him separated from the crew. There was a necromorph attacking the crew, leaving Isaac no choice but run. Since the crew stays in lockdown, Isaac was the only one who can access the ship's maintenance. I love the opening is short but thrilling. You are right into action shortly after, so no long painful walking section. Graphics might be old but they are still stunning. I love the lighting effects. Atmosphere in the game is exceptionally good and very creepy. You will go through lonely halls, listening to horrific sounds. There are lots of interesting background details. Isaac is a silent protagonist. This didn't work well for this game. I will explain this later. There is no HUD in this game. Here's your health, here's your ammo, and inventory. Isaac moving his head following the menu is such a cool thing. Game cutscenes are in real time. The game rarely takes control away from you. Most of the cutscenes are communication calls where you talk to the crew. You will find journals and voice recordings, etc., and they follow the same fashion as the game doesn't pause while viewing them. The map is very helpful and it will mark your paths. The game is very linear, though if you look around it feels rewarding. The entire game is in spaceship, but it's a huge ship. There is backtracking, but it's not that much since every chapter you will be in different part of the ship. In the first half of the game I was playing with fucked up mouse controls because VSync causes 30 FPS and mouse lag even though I set it to 60 FPS. I notice I can't control my mouse even on the menu, and I tried to play the game with horrible mouse lag first half of the game. So if you see I'm missing so many bullets, that's why you have to disable VSync in-game and enable it in your NVIDIA panel. After doing that, finally mouse lag disappears and game starts to load very fast. There is a part where you need to shoot asteroids. I hated the mouse controls there even after fixing my mouse lag. The game got easier after mouse fix. I had plenty of ammo and meds. Of course the lastest difficulty game becomes a nightmare to defeat. Even though this is a survival horror game, it has lots of action. Isaac is moving a bit slow and clunky, but still action feels great. There were many jump scares, but it gets tense sometimes. Still, I don't think it's scary at all, but fun. It's very satisfying to kill monsters and they are everywhere. Sure, there are many parts of the game where you can explore quietly, but most of the game was very action. The camera of the game is over the shoulder, same as Resident Evil 4, however I felt the camera was a bit awkward. Isaac has a bit weird posture, probably because of his heavy suit. When you find the first gun, you will see it's written on the wall, cut off the limbs. And the game will tell you over and over again,
Shoot the limbs of enemies for extra damage. This is Benson, Tram Engineering. We think we figured it out. Smith killed one. Listen, forget about shooting him in the body. You gotta cut off the limbs. Grab a cutter, anything like that. Cut him apart!
Isaac, be careful. Shooting them in the body didn't seem to work. Go for the limbs. Dismember them. That should do the job.
Conserve ammo by dismembering enemy limbs and doing extra damage.
I would like game let you experiment with the game mechanics a little bit, maybe revealing cutting limbs off trick after the first few chapters instead of showing it right in the beginning. Necromorphs will still take damage even if you don't cut their limbs off, but they will need lots of ammo to die. Your guns will be simply mining equipment, but they do the job. Isaac can use stasis and kinesis along with the weapons. Stasis will slow down enemies and environment. Kinesis is basically gravity manipulation for moving objects. You will be using kinesis a lot to solve puzzles, interact with the environment, or have some fun. Isaac can use melee, though most of the time it's a bad idea. The game is very immersive, but I felt like immersion was gone with hilarious ragdoll physics and you can dismember anything. The game offers lots of gore and death scenes are brutal. There is a shop and upgrade system in the game. When you kill enemies, they will drop store credits, ammo or health items. You will find shop schematics around to unlock new items in the shop, including new suits. Isaac looks so cool changing his suit. Shop also works to store items. Since your inventory is limited, you will need it. You will find notes for making upgrades on your character. They can be found in specific areas in the game, but you can also buy in store. Upgrading needs a lot of notes, so you need to choose wisely. There are lots of weapons to choose from. Each weapon feels unique. Each weapon has a secondary shot option, which makes them more effective depending on the situation. Line gun was my favorite weapon. The only weapon I disliked was the force gun. Maybe in hard mode can be useful, but in normal mode it felt useless. There is a large variety of enemies in game. Every enemy behaves differently. Some enemies will protect their limbs, or they will need to be shot at the weak spots. You can experiment with game mechanics and find unique playstyles. There were plenty of times I got caught off guard by getting surrounded by enemies. Most enemies are very aggressive, you have to get rid of them quickly. There is no safe area in the game, even the areas you can save your game, enemies can come at you. Level design and pacing is well done. Enemies are not the only threat. You need to be careful. You will need to heal with med packs and use air packs for areas that lack oxygen. Boss fights were mostly mini bosses because after fighting them they are reappearing as normal enemies. There were some huge bosses too, of course. Most bosses weren't that hard in the normal mode, but still some of them took me some time to defeat. You will need to make some puzzles in game, but they are mostly using kinesis or stasis to try to make your objective. There were plenty of puzzles that confused me. I needed some time to figure out what to do. Most puzzles are fixing stuff in the ship. Zero gravity sections are a very unique experience. You will need to make some puzzles and deal with enemies in zero G sections. Isaac is wearing gravity boots and his walking and running animation gets a bit hilarious in zero G sections. The story was interesting and mysterious, but characters were weak. The story was confusing a bit, but I will try my best to recap quickly. Isaac was in a repair crew to fix Planet Cracker Ishimura. He was also searching for his missing girlfriend Nicole, who was a medical assistant on the ship. Monsters attacked them and they have been separated. They were trying to fix the ship and escape. Isaac learned that there is a religious cult seeking a marker that is responsible for infections. It makes people see hallucinations and end up killing themselves, making them monsters. Isaac found out marker was in Ishimura all this time being a government experiment. Turns out Kendra was an undercover agent who came to retrieve marker back to Earth. Meanwhile, Isaac found his girlfriend. In the final, all the survivors died except Kendra and Isaac. She tries to escape, leaving Isaac to die, but Isaac found his way to face her. Turns out Nicole was dead all this time, and it was all hallucinations. A giant alien monster comes and kills Kendra. Oh my god! Isaac defeats the monster and escapes. A meteor hit Ishimura and destroyed Marker with it. The final cutscene reveals that even though Marker is destroyed, Isaac is still corrupted in mind. The final cutscenes and boss fights were very satisfying. Isaac finally reveals his face was badass. The final of the game also makes the player question whatever is over or not. I didn't enjoy the story much, mainly because the characters were bland. Some characters was even annoying, like one cult fanatic trying to make Isaac join. I predicted most of the deaths came using behind the glass death scene way too many times.
Come on! Let me out!
Isaac being a silent protagonist ruined the story even more. Developers wanted to make this way, or I guess he's in shock and he won't be talking, but none of the crew minded. That's immersion working. They are screaming through the monitor asking for help, telling Isaac, "Can you hear me?" while Isaac don't say a word, and they don't even question why Isaac isn't responding in the most critical situations.
Isaac, are you there? We were attacked. Kendra's gone. 1 minute she was there, then...
At least you can read his journal for the missions. Finally, in the end, Isaac shows some emotion though. Dead Space is an incredible game. It has innovative game mechanics and atmosphere. I expected to enjoy this game more, but still it was fun to play, it's just me. Still, I think it's an amazing game. The game offers lots of replayability. The game length was okay. I finished around 10 hours in game time, but I died several times, so probably it was longer playtime. I'm excited to try Dead Space 2. Thanks for watching. As always, see you on the next one.